Hi, this is Ricky Sun. I'm a Pi consultant. In this video, I'm going to talk about a problem that frustrates me the most in my career. And this is a very hard to solve problem that I recently see. And I'm going to talk about what the problem is, what I did, and what works to solve this, as well as how to replicate this problem for you so that you can see the pattern by yourself. So first, the problem. So the problem is I was looking at this performance counter, right? I have two performance counter. One is AF value written and the other one is event frame written. And they are the performance counter for the Pi Analytics service. And as you can see, the problem is it is getting flatline. Works for a while and then it flatline for extended period of time, and then it works again and then flatline again, which means no value get written to the data archive by the AF Analytics. That causing problem for the field or the remote operator who look at the event frame as well as the calculated data, and they would not have the data available to them for an extended period of time. So they are pretty much blind because they are dependent on these expression calculations or the event frame that get triggered to investigate what is important out of thousands of assets, right? And they have limited people who can investigate the issues. That's the power of the Pi system, right? In this perspective, you can hire less people to do more because it's going to tell you what is important to look at, like out of thousands or 10,000s or 100,000s of assets. So when I have this problem, I was looking at the log and I couldn't figure it out. And then I call tech support, right? Call tech support is the right thing to do. I have been doing that for I think most of my career. Even I was with OSIsoft. And then when I was a field service engineer, I call tech support when I'm in the field, right? Then it could save you some time when you even don't know what's going on, right? When I got on the call with tech support, they go for their procedures, and then they first suspect is the counter issues, like performance counter is having issues. So they're going to confirm the performance counter on the analytics servers is good. I think at least a couple hours just to find out if the performance counter is great. And we confirm it's not the performance counter when this is flatline, not writing data by the calculation engine. We also set up another analytics servers that looks at the event within certain tags. After 2 hours, we don't see any events within the calculated event within that tag. We conclude this analytic engine is going into stale mode. So we have a test environment, and that test environment is having an analytics server that look at the calculated tags, right? Make sure it has event, right? Expected event throughout 2 hours time range. If you are using the same analytic engine to monitor itself, when it goes to stale mode, it won't trigger because this is having problem. When this is having problem, you don't look at itself and expect a trigger. You know what I mean, right? And that's kind of the setup. And every time we see a notification, we will be like, okay, it's stale again. When is it going to come back? That's kind of like the setup. And then second thing we were trying is ask our DBA to re-index our PyFD database. In the past, it has been helpful. After the DBA in indexing the database, PyFD database, we have seen significant improvement in backfilling, right? So we say, why not try it? It doesn't hurt us too much to ask for this and then see if it improves our situation. So we did that, still not working. So the third part is we are increasing the timeout of the data access and as well as connection timeout. So this is through the PySDK connection, and I set that in the analytics server. So I make sure the timeout is increased. Instead of 60, I think the default, I put it in 120. Just to see what happened, but it doesn't work. Then we see in the data archive, right? I see pending overflow, which is the thread of the PyAnalytic processor time series. Like I see one thread having a lot of events pending, and it will overflow eventually and then it will drop. So this is the behavior, and I was searching OSIsoft tech support website myself, find the KB, and then what they tell me is to change the tuning parameters to double or triple it. Maximum update queue, I increase it, as well as total update queue. I think the default was just 50,000 for that maximum update queue, but I can change it to double and then triple it and then 4x it. And then I did stop and start the Pi server many times because I'm changing that tuning parameters. And then I have no success after changing it, and I just see the overflow, right? The overflow pending event just get larger, and it doesn't really extend it bigger, doesn't help the situation, if you know what I mean. Then I look at one more thing, which is the analytic service configuration. It depends on how much CPU and memory you have. You can have different tuning parameters for the analytics server, and I also changed that. I was doing different numbers, depends on number of processor we have. We refer to different article for documentation, as well as I think there's a document called topology, and then we reference that as well. We change our tuning parameters to our situation. And after that, guess what? It still have issues. So I don't know, looking at logs, right? Like I get the PyData archive logs, I get the analytic processor log, event viewer logs. These are PyList update manager logs, as well as AF get trace logs, right? I want to mention about the AF get trace log because don't turn it on unless you have to. Even though you are looking at one process, which is the analytics processor service, it will generate so much log that could crash your Windows operating system. And the log file could go really big. Like I remember I just turned on for half an hour, it could go up to 18 gigabytes. You should limit it, but if you limit it, it will only capture maybe a few minutes of logs, right? We don't see a pattern of when exactly it will go flatline. We see different scenarios, and when we compare to all the flatline, we notice is only Tuesday to Wednesday happen, and when it's weekend quiet day, it doesn't happen. Even on a Tuesday, we restart the server and then it doesn't happen after a while as well. So we don't know what is going on. I just see a lot of RPC timeout in the logs, in the analytic processor logs. Right? It drop the data archive connections and then timeout. There's nothing we could do and I get very frustrated, and my client as well, because this is something I don't know how to solve. Right?